Tonight, the kitten and I, she actually watched most of the movie for once. Now she's gonna go run amok because she just woke up. Or is she gonna sit? No, okay. Kitten tail. So tonight we watched Rachel Talalay's Tank Girl. I believe I've seen pieces of this movie. I know that my dad watched it a lot when it was on TV, and I never managed to watch it with him. I don't know. I always liked Lori Petty because of A League of Their Own. I think that movie rules. So, Tank Girl. It's based on comics by Alan Martin and Jamie Hewlett. Jamie Hewlett, you will probably know from Gorillaz, the Damien Albarn, the band, what have you. I quite like Gorillaz. It was actually sort of interesting to see. So, okay, Tank Girl is a whole lot of movie, and it's a little bit of a mess. But it's a mixture of all kinds of things, mixed media, the way that the comics, I guess, I was reading about the comics, that's the way the comics are. They're sort of cut and paste and, like William S. Burroughs and things like that. And so you've got, like, the opening sequence is just, like, of comics. And the comics look beautiful, so clearly the comics are fantastic. But the comics come in and out throughout the film, and sequences go one way and then something else happens, and there's a lot of not anachronisms, but where it'll cut from like some, like you think the scene's going to go this way and then suddenly something else happens and you're like, wait, what? Which is in style with the comics. So some of the little illustrated scenes that pop up throughout the film feature some of the characters from Gorillaz, from the music videos. I found that quite delightful because I enjoy Gorillaz. Okay, so Lori Petty is Tank Girl. She lives in, like, it's in the future. It's in 2034. So that was 1995 is when this movie came out. This movie came out 20 years ago. So it was set 40 years in the future. Now it's only 20 years in the future. But, what have you, whatever. So in the comics, I guess it's like post-apocalyptic Australia, which is why there's like kangaroo people. But this was filmed in America, and I don't really know if it's supposed to be set. It's probably not really Australia, but maybe, because they mentioned New Zealand at one point. But like the only one with an Australian accent is Naomi Watts, and the kangaroos. Except one of the kangaroos is Ice-T, who apparently was reincarnated from a cop. So perhaps Kangaroo Ice-T is Ice-T's character from SVU. I don't know. This review is rambling because the movie's rambling, and I'm not really sure if I liked it. Anne Magnuson was in it at one point in this really strange, like, strip joint, I guess, kind of. It did have a lot to say about how women behave and femininity and sort of that girl power feminism of the 90s was definitely peppered in there. But because the movie is so all over the place, it never really follows through with any of its ideas, so it just sort of presents them at you and then you just take them without much of a through line. My eyes are watering. Malcolm McDowell's the villain, and the villain is water and power, because there's a drought, much like California right now, and they have all the water and all the power, according to our narrator, Ms. Tank Girl. And there's like random Doris Day, which is always delightful. So, I can't even really talk about the plot because it's just so all over the place. But it feels to me like one of the most 90s films I've ever seen. The art director was Catherine Hardwicke, who would go on to film Lords of Dogtown and 13 and the first Twilight. And I'm sorry, this is like, my eyes are dying. There's like such 90s everywhere. Like everything I remember about the 90s visually was in this movie. Like there was the way people were dressed, certain shirts, the like the way the kangaroo dudes are dressed was very a couple of different 90s archetype, like with the little glasses and the jazz guy, and then there was like grunge, and there was that Britpop circle, and then she had like a candy necklace, and then she had a choker. Um, she had one of the gorillas tattooed on her arm, I'm pretty sure, or her hand. There was like trolls and crop tops, and just there are so many things that I was like, oh man, it's the 90s. Also, did Gwen Stefani like completely crib her entire style from this movie? Like, or does this movie predate Gwen Stefani looking like that? Because I'm pretty sure that's where Gwen Stefani got it all from. Yeah. It's also really sort of surreal to have Naomi Watts play the plain girl because she's so hot, you know? She's had like mousy brown hair and glasses. Oh, yeah. Speaking of like feminism, so there's a guy that keeps sexually harassing Naomi Watts' character, and he gets a comeuppance. But early on, like she can't get him to stop, and so Lori Petty like is like, get away from my girlfriend, and kisses her, and causes him to like freak out because he's homophobic. But also, you know, it's like proves once again that the easiest way to get a guy to leave you alone is to pretend to have a boyfriend, or pretend in this case to have a girlfriend. I actually had to do that once in college with this guy at the Indian restaurant that I used to go to all the time, and it's horrible that like men just won't actually take no for an answer, and you have to like give them some sort of reason outside of your own wishes to get them to leave you alone. Some bullshit. I think this is probably a movie that improves upon rewatching and or being really drunk, or watching it at midnight with a bunch of friends. Like I feel like this would be like if you were just drunk or stoned and at like midnight with your best friends, this would be a fantastic movie to watch. I also kind of want to do like a triple feature of like Johnny Mnemonic and Tank Girl and Hackers. I feel like that would be a great triple feature. You want to plan a triple feature, you know, just I'm good at it. So, yes, Tank Girl on Netflix. I believe it's expiring June 1st. I don't know, I read somewhere that it's expiring on June 1st, so it may or may not be expiring on June 1st. I would suggest watching it before then if you haven't seen it. It's very strange. Lori Petty is like the ultimate 90s star. I can't imagine her being a star in any other decade. I don't mean that as an insult either. I just mean it as, you know, she is the 90s. Yep. So, Rachel Talalay's Tank Girl from 1995. It's on Netflix.